All right, welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are unpacking a topic you've absolutely heard of if you've spent, 5 minutes in any health, fitness, or longevity circle recently. We're talking about peptides. We're going to be drawing directly from Dr. Abud Bakri's genuinely fantastic discussion on the Huberman Lab to essentially separate the wild social media hype from the concrete scientific reality. We're going to look at the biology, the real risks, and the actual breakthroughs happening right now.
Okay, let's dive into this. Peptides can accelerate healing, reverse aging, improve cognition, build muscle, burn fat, and even extend lifespan. I mean, wow. If you scroll through social media, you literally see fitness influencers and self-proclaimed biohackers making these exact claims every single day. They make peptides sound like the ultimate cheat code to the human body, right? This magical fountain of youth you can just click, order online, and inject before breakfast. It definitely sounds too good to be true.
Which naturally brings us to the million-dollar question. Are these viral trends actually grounded in scientific reality, or are they just a massive, dangerous gamble? The truth, as Dr. Bakri so brilliantly points out, well, it's not exactly black and white. We're standing at the edge of a genuine medical frontier here, but man, we are also wading through an absolute swamp of misinformation. So to figure out what's real and what's total fiction, we kind of need to understand what we're actually talking about first.
Let's strip away the magic for a second. What actually is a peptide? At their core, they're simply short chains of amino acids. Think of amino acids as the building blocks of proteins, right? So if a protein is a massive, complex brick wall, a peptide is just a tiny little stack of those same bricks. And because of their small size and specific shapes, they serve as signaling molecules, or basically messengers, within the body. I actually really like the analogy that they're biological keys. They just float around your system, find a specific lock, which is a receptor on a cell, turn it, and unlock a highly specific biological response.
And what's wild is that your body is already teeming with them. You are naturally producing thousands of these messengers every single second. So these aren't some synthetic alien compounds cooked up in a sci-fi lab. They're your body's everyday tools. They're regulating hormones, commanding your immune system, repairing torn tissue, balancing metabolism, controlling your appetite, managing your sleep, even fine-tuning your cognitive performance. Literally, your body's completely fluent in the language of peptides.
But here's where the problem really starts, and this is actually Dr. Bakri's main frustration. The word peptide has become so incredibly overused that it's practically meaningless now. Imagine if we used the word liquid to describe both a fresh glass of drinking water and, a cup of battery acid. That is exactly what's happening right now in the health space. This scientifically specific term is getting hijacked to sell literally everything online, from FDA-approved life-saving medications to completely unverified shady research compounds. And that creates this massive blind spot for consumers who just assume, hey, if this peptide is safe, they all must be safe.
And this brilliantly illustrates the massive gap, the core conflict we're facing. On one side of the spectrum, we have FDA-approved therapeutic medications. These things have gone through decades of rigorous testing, thousands of human patients, clinical trials, the whole shebang, to prove they're safe and effective. On the other side, we have online research chemicals, vials of liquid bought from questionable websites with a credit card, often with literally zero human testing. Conflating these two categories, that's where people get into really serious trouble.
Welcome to the research chemical Wild West. People are literally going online, buying vials that explicitly say research chemicals for laboratory use only, or blatantly, not for human consumption. And then they just inject them into their own bodies. The risks here are absolutely terrifying. You've got purity issues and unknown contaminants. These aren't exactly being whipped up in sterile pharmaceutical-grade labs. There's rampant mislabeling, meaning you might not even be injecting what you think you are. And even if it is 100% pure, there's a complete lack of long-term human evidence for a lot of this stuff. Plus, doing all this without a doctor, medical complications can go completely unnoticed until it's way too late.
So let's break down some of the most famous experimental compounds people are actually taking. Take BPC 157. Bodybuilders swear up and down it heals tendons and gut issues overnight. The reality? Well, the animal and rodent studies are actually incredibly encouraging, showing real blood vessel growth and tissue repair, but the human trials, severely limited. Then you've got Pinolon and Epithalon. These are the absolute darlings of the anti-aging world, originating from Soviet-era research. They supposedly protect DNA and lengthen telomeres, but the science is highly, highly theoretical right now. Proving human lifespan extension takes decades of observation, and we literally just don't have that data yet.
Now, thymosin alpha-1 actually does have a stronger foundation for immune regulation in some very specific medical contexts, but it's not just a catch-all immune booster. And TB500, used for fast recovery, but it's often recklessly mixed with other stuff, leaving the long-term consequences completely up in the air.
And that mixing of compounds, which the internet calls stacking, brings us to an absolutely crucial warning from Dr. Bakri. The absence of evidence does not automatically imply safety. Just because some random biohacker on a Reddit forum didn't instantly drop dead from injecting BPC-157 and TB500 together doesn't mean it's safe. We have zero idea how these experimental compounds actually interact with each other, their long-term consequences on human organs and cellular pathways. Total mystery. Biohacking without data isn't science, you guys. It's literally just gambling with your biology.
Now let's pivot for a second to something a little more visible, and arguably much safer, that's completely taken the skincare industry by storm. GHK-Cu, or the copper peptide. This is a naturally occurring peptide that binds to copper and plays a massive role in collagen production and wound healing. Because our natural collagen levels absolutely tank as we age, the cosmetics industry is all over this one. And to be fair, it actually has a much stronger evidence base for dermatological use, like improving skin elasticity. But, quick reality check here. No peptide is going to magically reverse aging. The improvements you see here are gradual, they're not magic.
Okay, now I want to shift our focus and our tone from cautious skepticism to genuine scientific awe. We are leaving the murky waters of online research chemicals and entering the realm of actual, proven medical miracles, the GLP-1 revolution. This is where the hype absolutely matches the science. These are, without a doubt, the most transformative peptides in modern medicine today.
You've definitely heard of medications like semaglutide. Unlike the experimental stuff we just talked about, GLP-1 agonists have been put through the absolute gauntlet of rigorous clinical testing. And the validated successes? Staggering. We're talking unprecedented, significant weight loss, total mastery over blood sugar control, a literal paradigm shift in diabetes treatment, and massive reductions in cardiovascular risk. The impact of these peptides has been so profound that top medical experts are literally comparing their invention to the discovery of statins. It's a total game changer.
Let's move to and see how this builds. How exactly do these drugs alter our relationship with food? Well, GLP-1 is a hormone your body already makes. When someone takes a GLP-1 agonist, it's basically a three-step process. Step 1, the peptide binds to specific receptors. Step 2, gastric emptying actually slows down, meaning food literally stays in your stomach longer. In step 3, those biological signals for hunger and food cravings just sharply decline. Patients are consuming significantly fewer calories, but without that miserable, agonizing feeling of deprivation. It's basically a mechanical and biological override of obesity.
But here is the absolute wow moment of this whole explainer. The effects of GLP-1s do not stop in the stomach. They travel straight up into the brain's reward pathways. They are fundamentally altering dopamine, the chemical responsible for motivation, reward, and cravings. Researchers are seeing that patients aren't just losing their craving for food. They're reporting a drastically decreased urge for alcohol, a decreased urge for nicotine. Some are even reporting a sudden reduction in compulsive gambling behaviors. It's wild. This peptide might not just be a cure for obesity. It could literally be the master key to unlocking and treating human addiction.
And all of this brings us to the incredibly bright future of peptide science. Honestly, we are just scratching the surface here. With major advances in biotechnology, scientists are now engineering peptides with way greater stability, longer durations in the body, and laser-focused therapeutic targeting. Over the coming decades, we're likely looking at an explosion of peptide-based medicines tailored specifically for Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's, cancer, autoimmune disorders, and yes, eventually, scientifically validated longevity.
But getting to that amazing future safely requires a lot of discipline today. So I want to leave you with this absolutely vital mandate from Dr. Bakri. Treatment decisions should be guided by science, individual health needs, and professional expertise. You just cannot get a proper diagnosis, risk assessment, or side effect management from a fitness influencer on a podcast. You need a physician, period. Peptides are incredibly powerful biological tools, but their true value can only be unlocked through rigorous evidence and actual medical supervision.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final, kind of provocative thought. When you look at this wild frontier of biohacking and the undeniable power of these cellular messengers, are you treating your body as a laboratory, just running unregulated experiments with completely unknown consequences? Or are you treating it as a temple, guiding its health with verified science, patience, and true medical wisdom?
The choice of how we navigate this new peptide frontier is ultimately entirely up to us. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and remember to keep asking the right questions.